Here are my Week 6 fantasy rankings for the QB position, which are one of the easiest in the league, but may have a few surprises that you may not expect. But anyway, let's move on to the S tier. We got Josh Allen. Until otherwise, this is the fantasy MVP. He's at a top 5 finish in every game so far, and this is the game he's had marked on his calendar since the disappointing conference champion loss against the Chiefs. Big plays all around. This guy will perform. There really isn't much to say. He's probably winning MVP this year as well. I mean, the Bills' offense is just insane right now, playing at an insane pace. Josh Allen, until otherwise, #1 QB in the league. Next up, I got Patrick Mahomes against the Bills in the same game. This will be a shootout for sure. And this is also a game the Chiefs had circled as well. They want to show Buffalo what's up at Arrowhead Stadium. This game should be crazy. I doubt this game goes below 52 points. Mahomes could easily go for 5 touchdowns, 300-plus yards. Expect the best from these two quarterbacks, Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. Moving on, we got Lamar Jackson, who faces the New York Giants this week, who have been a big surprise this year. So the best performance the Giants defense allowed was a 19-point game to Ryan Tannehill in Week 1. The Giants defense also allows 18.6 points per game, which is the 9th best in the NFL. You can say whatever you want about them, but for a team with very little talent, they sure know how to close games and win games. But Lamar Jackson is Lamar Jackson, and I really don't see him finding too much success throwing the ball, honestly. But he creates such a problem with his feet, running the ball, and making people miss for extra yards, honestly. You could see a lot of success running the ball against this Giants defense. Moving on, I got the A-tier QBs. These are obviously must-starts. They're great QBs. I just don't see them hitting the points that the S-tier QBs will have this week. In the A-tier, I got Jalen Hurts in a divisional showdown in Philadelphia. This is a big game for Hurts and the Eagles, and I look for him to show up big. The Dallas defense has played like a top 5 defense, as we may know, and allow 14.4 points per game, which is 3rd best in the league. Hurts has only finished outside the top 5 QBs once against the Jaguars, and obviously that was because of the insane weather conditions. It was a downpour. It was a mud bowl almost. But in fantasy football, we know QBs with mobile ability just have so much more value, honestly. I think he's #2 in rushing touchdowns this year as a QB. So yeah, he's a lot going for him right now. If he doesn't have fine success throwing the ball, he will probably get in a rushing touchdown or 2. Next, we got Kyler Murray. He's playing the Seahawks, and the Seahawks allow 19.7 fantasy points per game to QBs, which is the 8th worst in the NFL. I mean, Jared Goff had 30-plus points against him, and the Swiss Army knife Taysom Hill at 30 points, but I don't even know if that's a fair assessment given that he plays pretty much every position on offense. But once again, due to his ability to scramble for rushing touchdowns and yards, his value goes above some of the pocket passers we have below him. Rounding off this B tier, I got Tom Brady, who's going against the Pittsburgh Steelers. We saw what Josh Allen did against them. He didn't even play in the 4th quarter and probably could have put up way more points. And I think the Bucs will have the same success against the Steelers, who honestly don't have much going for them. I mean, TJ Watt is in there, so they're probably going to lose and have a bad performance. But yeah, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans are all there. Easy start for him. Easy win. Moving on to the B tier running backs. These are also great plays if you don't have some of the other quarterbacks I listed above. But yeah, this may come as a surprise, but I know this may come as a surprise, but I got Geno Smith in that B tier. Yes, I got Geno Smith. 3 top 7 fantasy finishes this week, and it's time to put some respect on his name. Nobody expected Geno to perform like he is right now. I mean, he has been amazing so far. He has the highest completion percentage in the league with a 75.2 completion percentage and 3rd among yards per pass attempt, which means he is not just throwing dink and dunks. He is throwing lasers and bombs and dots to his receivers. He's 8th in passing touchdowns, 12th in passing yards, and with only 2 interceptions, he's a great play against the Cardinals, who allow 19.9 points to fantasy QBs, which is the 7th worst in the NFL. I think Geno will find success again this week. I mean, he's a great play right now. He has been balling. Love to see it. Next in the B tier, I got Joe Burrow. This Bengals offense has been awful. I mean, they have so much weapons at their disposal, and they're just not producing enough. I mean, we hope that the Bengals offense will click this week, and Joe Burrow will have one of those games that'd be like, the Bengals are back, but we'll see. Rounding off this B tier, I got Chargers QB Justin Herbert. I mean, it's a very important divisional game for both teams against the Broncos, and they want to stay alive in the AFC wildcard race. I mean, the Denver Broncos are a hard match for QBs, but they only allow 10.9 fantasy points to QBs this year, which ranks 3rd best in the league. They are a hard matchup, and Justin Herbert doesn't play his best football against them when averaging a measly 16-point fantasy points in the last year's matchup in the last 2 games. But with the way the Broncos love to punt the ball, they are 3rd in punts this year. It just gives Justin Herbert and his Chargers offense way more opportunities than they should be getting. So yeah, the Broncos defense can hold strong for some of it, but eventually Justin Herbert and his offense will break them down badly. Next in the C tier QBs, these are also some decent plays, but also very scary at the same time. If you don't have the guys above you, these are the next best options, I think. And next we got Kirk Cousins, who's coming off a top 6 performance last week, and I predicted he would have a top 10 performance, so I might be right again. But they're playing the Dolphins, who have been bad to say the least this year on defense. And I don't know what QB they will play this week, but Kirk Cousins should find success regardless against a defense that has given up way too many big plays this year. And they play way too much press coverage to hold Justin Jefferson down. Justin Jefferson going to have a big game. Kirk Cousins have a big game. And finally in that C tier, who may not be it much longer, is Aaron Rodgers. This Jets defense may surprise a lot of people in this game. They're a middle of pack defense and a team that's looking to get over that hump. But an embarrassing loss to Aaron Rodgers usually doesn't bode well for other teams. I mean, when they got embarrassed by the Vikings in week 1, the next week he finished as a top 13 quarterback in a game where they could rely on his running backs to win a game. Last year in week 1 against the Saints, when they lost 38-3 in that embarrassing loss, the next week Aaron Rodgers threw for 4 touchdown passes. The only problem is we need the Jets to stay in this game in order for Aaron Rodgers to keep passing the ball. And I think the Jets can honestly stay in this game till the end, so I think Aaron Rodgers will be forced to pass the ball more. And next, moving on to the D tier, I mean, if you don't have anyone above, these are the guys that you will be sadly have to start. I mean, we got Trevor Lawrence, Matt Ryan, Matthew Stafford, and Russell Wilson. These are some of the worst plays you can make at quarterback. They're not going to create the biggest plays this week. But if you really don't have anyone above you, Trevor Lawrence or possibly Matthew Stafford could be the best plays. I mean, Russell Wilson could get injured, like I said in earlier videos. Matt Ryan's a turnover machine right now. But yeah, Trevor Lawrence or Matthew Stafford are the best plays in this D tier position, if I'm being honest with you. So yeah. But those are my QB Week 6 rankings. I hope you enjoyed. And click right here if you want to see one of the hardest positions in wide receiver rankings. And I may have some predictions that may surprise you.